river was still and reflecting its surroundings like a mirror. Morning. It's about 5:30 in the morning. Got woken up by the kookaburras as normal. Gonna quickly pack up and get on the road. See what the rest of this bridle track has to offer. I think I'm only maybe 5 or 10 kilometres from the end of it. Then I'm going to head north. I think there's some farmland up there. Into Mudgee and then across and into the Barrington Tops National Park. And from there I'm going to drop down into around Gloucester. Not sure exactly where I'll stay tonight. Probably around there, maybe a bit further, maybe before that. Just really hard on dirt tracks knowing how much distance you're going to get per day. It depends. If they're farm roads, you're sitting on 80. If they're dirt tracks, you could be down at 20 and 30. So it's all a bit of a guess. But I'm going to pack up and see what this track's like. I pulled the tent down, had a lot of dew on the bottom, which meant it was picking up all the dirt. So I was brushing it off. I would need to wash my hands in the river. With that sorted, it was time to move out. I got back onto the bridle track. I came upon a wallaby. It seemed a bit early for him. He was a bit slow and confused, but eventually got it together and moved on. I guess they're just not used to having someone come through this early. More wallabies. Said it before, it is a gorgeous little valley. Still see the stonework from when they widened the track in the 1930s. Started up a steep climb. Which had those humps and gutters for directing water off the track. The track was rough in sections, I gather due to the incline. As when rain falls, the runoff would be moving faster on these steeper slopes, causing more erosion and damage compared to the track at the bottom of the valley. I noticed a clearing to my left, and the strangest cloud formation with 4 short, straight clouds. turrets everywhere, scrambling up the side of the hill, a few dropping off the edge. But it seems a group of 5 wanted to race. Well, I'm not going to follow them over that edge. All of a sudden, I was surrounded by a swarm of butterflies, or what is known as a kaleidoscope of butterflies. And just like that, I was on the tarmac and the end of the Bridle track. I had arrived at Hill End, which owes its existence to the New South Wales gold rush of the 1850s. At its peak in the early 1870s, it had a population of around 8,000, served by 2 newspapers, 5 banks, 8 churches, and 28 pubs. You can guess what the priority was. The population has now dropped to 80 people. I think there are more kangaroos in that field than people in the town. Now that is what you technically call a mob of kangaroos. I rode through the tiny town. My next destination was Mudgee. Quick stop to put the puffer back on as the temperature had dropped. So made it to Mudgee, got a chance to fill up just in case, you never know where I'll end up. Bridle track, I rate that, that was fun, that was a lot of fun. A lot of animals, random goat chasing. Next up is the Barrington Tops National Park, and I think there's a road transition in between. It's country roads, so it's just a windy country little roads. And then we'll see if we can find some more dirt. There we go, proof in Australia, you don't need a town to have a pub. There were quite a few potholes in this section of road. Potholes on top of potholes. Now there's a long coal train. I thought I spotted something on the road, so I turned around to check it out. Yep, a goanna hanging out on the warm road surface. Ahead in the distance, I could see a massive open-cut mine, probably where that coal train was leaving from. It was right at the edge of the town of Muswellbrook. In fact, the mine was larger than the town. Well, it seems like I'm going to have to blow into a breathalyzer.
How are you, Dave?
Good, mate.
Where are you off to?
Barrington Tops.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just had to take the helmet off so it actually registered my breath. With that done, I was off again. There seem to be a lot of paddocks with horses in this area. That would explain it. They're all horse studs. Can anyone answer me this question? Why do all the horse studs have the same type of fencing? Well, it is nice to know the road you want to take is actually open. They seem to be very fond of a one-lane bridge out here. I gather there's not a lot of traffic to need 2 lanes. Finally made it back onto dirt. By the looks of this roadworks though, it doesn't look like it's going to be dirt for much longer. So this is another GPX file I found. I'm hoping it takes me through the Barrington Tops. It looks like it does, but as always, they're a bit of a lucky dip. The others have been pretty good this morning. I don't know if we can beat this morning, I doubt it, but it should be fun. There should be some views up here on the normal road. I'm on the dirt one. We'll find out. I started climbing up into the Barrington Tops. When you see gates like that across dirt roads, it normally means the roads are closed for part of the winter. Further up I climbed, and the drop-offs had some serious consequences now. I came around the corner to find a rather large closed gate. I got off the bike to see if I could get through. It had a latch just like a farm gate, so I gather it was fine to pass through. And like a farm gate, you need to leave it how you found it. Although my arm seemed a little short, but eventually I got it. To a section that felt very familiar. As I rode into the section, it was like being transported to BC Canada. Pine forest. It smells the same. I spent a lot of time in Squamish, between Vancouver and Whistler, and there's some epic trails there, just quietly. And this is literally it. Oh, just that smell, that freshness, all the green moss over everything, big tall pine trees, and dirt roads and tracks and trails everywhere. Haven't found any of those dirt tracks yet, but everything else is here. Wow, New South Wales. Impressed. Well, Barrington Tops. sections of long straights. I had noticed there were a few side tracks that disappeared down the side of the mountain. It would be cool to do a bit of research and find out if it was worth coming back through here one day to explore them. Finally got an opening through the forest. They actually had to build a lookout to do it because it's so thick up here. It is spectacular. It would have been nice to see further up, where right at the top, that looked insane compared to this. But this is good. I just think they need to build one up the top, or just take a few branches out. I put the bike in reverse and backed out. It looked like I was about to start to descend down the mountain. With all these signs and hitting the sealed road, it was a sure sign I was going to be heading down. The GPX file said to turn off the main road onto this dirt track. Who am I to argue? There's probably so many of these dirt tracks and roads across the country that I'll never get to ride or even see. Then, my first snake of the trip. I then rode over a series of streams and creeks as the road was travelling along the lowest point of this small valley. I'd made it back onto the main sealed road. With a quick resupply and fuel, I headed to the edge of town, where it said they had free camping. I pulled into an empty field. But I wasn't feeling it. So, I moved on, back through Gloucester and out the other side. I then pulled over at a lookout to see if there was anywhere to camp near the next GPX file. I found one that was kind of close to the track, so I headed off. And the turnoff was just across the road. I haven't seen road fencing made of wood like this in a very long time. The road started winding its way through the hills. I was then treated to more stunning rolling green hills. There were picture postcard views around every corner. slowly made my way through the cattle so not to startle any of them. I stumbled onto another dirt road. This is quite a long single lane bridge for being in the middle of nowhere, but it did cross a gorgeous river. The main industry in the area, if you hadn't guessed it yet, is beef and dairy cattle. And this area didn't miss the gold rush either, as it was discovered nearby in Copland in 1876. I pulled up and had a look at the navigation. The Wikicamp map had me going to the left, but the guide GPS map showed the dirt route that I wanted to follow going to the right. So it seemed I'd have to backtrack in the morning. I headed towards a place I was going to camp. I was on another dirt road next to another river. And I thought that wasn't going to be a long day. I started at 6:30, or just before 6:30, and it is just after 6:30. So 12 hours of lots of fun. That first track was pretty cool, I've got to say. Lots of animals today. Lizards, snakes, goats, sheep, cows. I did see some donkeys. I didn't get to film those, but there were donkeys out there. Lots of kangaroos and birds everywhere. Okay, I'm gonna set up tent, and yeah, I'm pretty fried. I might just do that first. These are gum trees, I think, so don't camp under them, just in case one of their branches lets go, which actually happens quite often. Let's move it out a bit further. It may not look it, but I do have a system, and things go in their certain spots so I don't forget, and in the middle of the night I can just grab them if I need them. So, keys, live up the top there so I don't forget them every time, or it's that inevitable thing, you'll be checking every pocket in your shorts, your jacket, your bag, so that always goes there. Helmet, it goes up the back with my jacket. I'm not going to use that until the morning. All the bags from the tent, sleeping bag, air mat, all end up in this side pocket. Power bank lives just on the inside here so I can charge everything. Tank bag lives just in front of the helmet because that's just the best spot for it. Camera bag lives just next to the power bank because that's where I'm going to be pulling everything out to put it in. And then bag that sits on the back goes in between, and then I'll pull out air mat, sleeping bag. It's been a long day. There's also still water in there, so I keep my pillow one as well. So they would go in the side one. I'm just going to get my pump. I don't have the nozzle that exactly fits this thing, but I don't want it blown up 100% anyway, so it works. Otherwise it gets too hard if it's 100% blown up. Same with this thing. That's basically camp set up. I've been leaving the soft panniers on my bike overnight. No one's stolen anything yet. It's only smelly clothes, some rusted tyre levers, some random bars and food and stuff like that, tins of tuna. Maybe they'll go after that. It is actually quite warm tonight. Last night was cool, but this time I think I'm going to have to put some shorts on just to get through the last of the day. Although the sun has just gone over that hill in the background. Should cool down. I am moving north, so yeah, makes sense to be warmer. So back to what I was talking about when I first got here. The day, like the morning, was epic. The surprise was the Canadian look-alike little pine forest in the Barrington Tops. That was just stunning. That was a surprise. I have just had a quick look at the map again. So where I stopped and Google Maps took me this way to get to the campground, or the reserve I think it is, that you can camp at, hopefully. And you go right to stay on that GPX file. It looks like if I keep going on the dirt road, there's a side dirt road which joins onto another dirt road, which might, well should, technically, get me back onto that GPX file route. So I might risk that in the morning. Worst that can happen, I'll just have to turn around and come back. Ah, the kookaburras. Can you hear that one? I'm sure they'll wake me up nice and early in the morning. Need some water, get some shorts on, and finally do nothing. I just saw a herd of cows just walking down the road. They saw me and they've stopped and had a look. It's what happens in the country. It's not supposed to rain, but there's some sort of mist or something. I don't know. Oh, it's blue there. We'll find out in the morning. Okay, nearly ready for bed.